April is Financial Literacy Month, and it's the perfect time to take stock of your financial goals, fine-tune your budget, and take advantage of free financial advice. Schools First Federal Credit Union is here to help us get on track for a brighter financial future. Joining us today is Nathan Calhoun, Calvine Point Branch Manager. Welcome back, Nathan.
Thank you very much.
You know, I say every time you come here, you make sure we're financially literate. So I'm always appreciative when you're here because I always learn something every time you're on.
Thank you.
So can you help us understand what Financial Literacy Month is and why it's important?
Yeah, so the term financial literacy, it refers to the ability to understand and apply various financial skills effectively. National Financial Literacy Month is recognized every year in April and just tries to draw awareness to the importance of financial literacy and just smart money management.
Yeah, and then what's an example of how financial literacy can positively impact an individual or maybe even a household?
Well, as I just said, we're talking about financial skills essentially, and you can kind of think of these as the tools you use to achieve your financial goals or just navigate the complexities of personal finance. These can be simple things like balancing your checkbook or just paying your monthly bills.
Yeah.
But as you move forward, it gets more complex. There's things like setting a household budget, preparing for major purchases like a car or a house. And there's even future planning. You might want to be able to help your kids pay for their education or plan for your own retirement.
Yeah, so all things that you should consider in advance and kind of keep thinking about. And now let's talk about the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
What's the impact of not having financial literacy so we can avoid that situation?
Unfortunately, a lot of unfortunate outcomes. You think even in today's day and age, a lot of high schools don't really have a dedicated curriculum to personal finance. And we see a lot of young people enter the real world, and they're just kind of wandering around trying to figure things out as they go, sometimes without good advice. You can kind of see examples of it when people maybe take on debt, but they take on too much debt, and it's burdensome, and you get unfortunate outcomes in that situation. There's even studies out there that point to the fact that married couples, one of the most common topics of arguments or conflict is personal finance topics. So when I think about challenges around not having financial literacy, I'm just thinking about it just makes it hard to achieve financial wellness or get to those goals.
Yeah, I feel like you hit it right on the nose, especially when you talked about couples, because if they haven't had that financial literacy and now all of a sudden these things that you haven't talked about, now you need to talk about, it becomes uncomfortable when it doesn't need to be if you're having these conversations ahead on. So we've seen from your Financial Wellness Wednesdays that information is always changing and viewers have to stay on top of shifting financial landscape. How can we keep our financial literacy skills sharp?
You're absolutely right. Things in the financial landscape are always changing, right? But there are a lot of resources out there. One thing I can recommend to everyone is check out there's a lot of books on personal finance out there. Topics like budgeting, investing, paying down your debts. Other thing I can recommend is webinars. Webinars are great. Webinars help you get to a topic that you're really trying to follow at this time. And they can even have how-tos in the webinar. Some of them even offer the opportunity to have like Q&As.
Yeah.
Lastly, and this is one I really like, are things like blogs or podcasts even that are dedicated to personal finance topics out there. And they offer great information and help you keep on top of information that you're interested, applicable to your current goals.
Yeah, I think it's helpful that there's so many outlets, like you were mentioning, there's podcasts, there's shows, there's books where people can find what they need and obtain it how they can receive it best. Because if a book's not your thing, then there's a webinar that you can join. If it's not a webinar, it's a podcast. So there's a lot of options out there for people to get what they need. And Nathan, are there any more tips you want to share?
I would just lastly share that knowledge is power. An informed consumer will always make the best decisions for themselves and their personal finance. So seek out information before you enter into big transactions. And when you're planning, get help. There's a lot of infrastructure around helping people achieve their financial goals out there. And lastly, as I always mention, there's a lot more information available at our website, which is schoolsfirstfcu.org.
Yeah, you don't have to go through this alone. If you have financial questions or you're going through debt, there's people that want to help you get on the right track, like at Schools First.
Absolutely.
Nathan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You bet. And you can visit one of the many Schools First Federal Credit Union branch locations as seen on the screen. And you can find out more online by going to schoolsfirstfcu.org. www.ecosystemfund.org.